Welcome, lords and ladies, back to the realm. I'm the Goat King, and I think Pathfinder 2nd Edition is missing something. Something big. Today we talk about size rules, and I make an impassioned plea for large ancestries. But before we dive in, we should take a look at how 1st Edition handled different size PCs. Small PCs in 1st Edition receive a small bonus to their attacks and armor class, as well as a large bonus to their stealth. However, their size makes them less capable of both defending against and using combat maneuvers, such as grapple, trip, shove, and disarm. In addition, they take a penalty to their strength and must use smaller, less powerful weapons. This causes them to suffer for melee builds. Their carrying capacity would also suffer from their reduced strength. Coming back to Pathfinder 2nd Edition, we see that much of this has been cut back. Small PCs don't have any bonuses or penalties relative to medium PCs other than being able to fit into smaller places and perhaps take better advantage of cover. And keep in mind, in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, better cover means it's easier to hide. Small creatures can also use the same size of equipment as their medium counterparts. Weapons of different sizes also don't have changed damage output in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. This all serves to flatten the curve for small PCs, allowing them to be as effective in melee as their medium counterparts. A few friends in my group have expressed disappointment with this change. They feel it removes interesting and meaningful interactions within the game. However, once you start getting into tiny PCs, you see that these rules are not totally gone. Tiny PCs will require armor to be appropriately sized, weapons as well unless they want the clumsy condition. Stealth is benefited by their ability to take cover and hide in places that wouldn't have worked for their larger counterparts. And finally, tiny creatures would have to be careful with managing their inventory, as negligible items will now add up as if they're light bulk. Unfortunately, there are only 2 ancestries I know of that will allow you to play a tiny PC: Sprite and Poppet. I would love to see more tiny ancestries in the game. But let's move into the real reason I wanted to make this video. Large ancestries. They would need to buy custom weapons and armor, as well as follow the bulk conversion rules on page 295 of the core rulebook. Large PCs will also have to treat small places as difficult terrain, as noted in the squeeze entry on page 241 of the core rulebook. They will also have difficulty finding meaningful cover and hiding from enemies. But perhaps the greatest struggle of a large PC will be dealing with large numbers of small or medium enemies who will easily be able to flank the PC. Thankfully, many large PCs will have reach, but not all. I believe for the most part, all the necessary rules are already in place to support large ancestries. Speaking of large ancestries, I have a few suggestions. Minotaur NPCs featured in the Absalom City book. The Minotaur ancestry would have reach and could feature abilities relating to their natural proficiency with navigating mazes, as well as having a natural horn attack. Minotaur heritages could include upgraded horns or a winter coat for fur, as the sidebar in page 237 of the first bestiary suggests. Not to mention their purely auditory intimidation ability, Hunted Fear, which could easily be a feat for them to choose. And you have a fairly rounded groundwork for producing a playable ancestry. Despite the fact that they're evil normally, we do have playable races that were by default evil. Goblins, for instance. And with the NPCs in the City of Lost Omens book, I think it makes sense to have Minotaurs join the playable ancestries. But the ancestry I most want to see added to the game are Centaurs. These large PCs would not have reach, but should be quite fast. A 35-foot move speed is my suggestion. As an addendum, I forgot when originally recording the video, Centaurs should be able to use weapons suited for medium creatures. As well, they might be able to wear armor suited for medium creatures so long as it's torso and up. Optionally, your GM may allow you to use barding for a large creature, but either way, I believe there should be a -1 penalty given that either specific armor doesn't completely cover your character. A centaur is always going to be best off with armor custom made. Heritages could be based on different breeds of horses. Thoroughbreds might have a 45-foot land speed. Mustangs might have bonuses to survival checks. Clydesdales may have even more increased bulk limits as well as a small bonus against the trip, grapple, and shove actions. Of course, we're not limited to horse breeds. We could have a rare heritage with a goat-like body that bypasses the difficult terrain of small spaces and gets bonuses for climbing. If you also want large ancestries, please do share this video or make a video of your own. I'm sure if Paizo hears the community asking for large ancestries, they'll be happy to provide them. But until next time, thank you for visiting the realm. I've been the Goat King, and come back again next time for more Pathfinder and Starfinder.